कैसे हैं भीड़ू लोग। सब बढ़िया। बीबी की वाइन्स में आपका स्वागत है। सॉरी सॉरी, ये एक एजुकेशनल चैनल है और मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि इसमें सारे लॉजिकल और कोडिंग प्रॉब्लम्स ही करूं। तो लास्ट वीडियो में वी सॉ दैट वी हैड ए क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम मेक माई ट्रिप इंटरव्यू. So basically what they wanted to do is they want to create a biased dice where the probability of getting an even number is greater than probability of getting an odd number. तो जैसा कि हमने लास्ट वीडियो में डिस्कस किया था लॉजिक को, यहाँ पे लॉजिक लिखा हुआ है। और अगर आपने लास्ट वीडियो नहीं देखी है तो आप जाके उसको देख सकते हैं। वहाँ पे हमने लॉजिक को काफ़ी डिटेल्ड वे में डिस्कस किया है। तो अभी हम लोग उसी वाले लॉजिक को यहाँ पर इम्प्लीमेंट करके देखेंगे कि चलता है कि नहीं चलता है। तो विल स्टार्ट राइटिंग द कोड. सो विल इंक्लूड द लाइब्रेरीज फर्स्ट. सो अभी के लिए सिर्फ आईओ स्ट्रीम से ही काम हो जाएगा. डू नेम स्पेस std do int main और यहाँ से हम रिटर्न करेंगे 0 which will say that our program has successfully completed. So what we wanted to do here is we wanted to gather a random number. So we wanted to gather a random number between 7 to 54, correct? So we'll write a function or we will use a C++ random function to get that random value. So you have a function called rand. So what I'll say here is int random number is equal to rand of percentage 6 plus 7. So what basically this says is it will start from 7 and it will go to next six numbers. So 7 plus 6 means it will give you, including 7, it will give you till 12. So we wanted till 44. So what we'll do here is we'll change it to 48. Okay. So it will give me till 54. We'll just try to print out the random number. We'll save the program and we'll try to run it. So we got 14. Again we got 14. So let's increase this. We'll say test cases minus minus. You can see that this is inside while, so I have put it as intended the code. So I'll say in test cases is equal to 2. So it will basically give me the first two values and it will print me. So it is giving 14.8. Again I run it. Again it will give me 14.8. So you are seeing that whenever I'm trying to run the program, what it is giving me, it is always giving me the same set of values. So it's not random, right? Whenever you run, instead of time or whatever happens, it should give you a random value. So what you have to do is to remove this repetitive function, you will have to use a srand function. Basically what it does is it will seed the time. So so that it will not give you repetitive values in C++. So you have to write it only once inside your main program. Also, what we'll do is you can use a srand function and we'll say that it is unsigned. So you can directly pass a null value or something like that. It's better to use a time variable because time will be changing every time. So we'll use this and we'll try to run the code and see whether we are getting a random value every time or not. So we are getting a random value. That's good. So instead of writing my whole logic of getting a random number here, what we'll do here is we'll create a function. So I'll say that I'll name this function as int get random number. So basically, whenever you are naming a function, it should be very proper. So that means everyone is able to understand it. So I just want to gather the random number. So instead of writing this multiple times, I'll just return this value and it will be returning an int value from this function, from this mathematical expression. Okay. So now we'll just try to write our logic. So we'll say that our logic will be guys cast dice. Okay. So inside this, first thing is I want my random number. So I'll say that I'll create a variable and I'll say random number is equal to get random number. So what we could have directly written this value here itself, but in future, suppose if you want to change the value of the random function, okay, so some other logic you want to put. So instead of going here and changing everything, you can directly go inside the random function and change the value. You can also test it very easily without hampering anything inside it in the castDice. So what we said is whenever our random number is even, we will be returning random number mod 6, correct? And if this value is odd, we will return random number divided by 2 and then mod 6, correct? So this will always give me a value in the result set of 1 to 6. And what I will do here is inside my test case I'll increase it to 5. Okay, so we'll just create two more variables here which will be counting our even items and odd items. So we'll say even items is equal to 0, comma odd items is equal to 0. So what we want here is we'll get our number is equal to castDice, right? Because castDice will handle everything. So if this will print out this number to see or whatever it is coming number, and we'll say endl, and just for our counting purpose we'll just see what number we would have received if number mod 2 is equal to 0. Then we want to do is even items plus plus because it is an even number, else we want to do a odd items plus plus. And once this all set is completed, what we'll do is we'll just see out even items space odd items. We'll put a endl at the last. So you see the spacing how we are using, right? There is a proper spacing between every equal to, and there is space between every time we have written this after if. Most people try to put it below this. It's totally based on whatever you like. Everything is fine. Some people want to write this also in brackets even if it is a single statement also. Now let's see means whether our program is working or not. So we'll just clear the terminal. We'll say clear and we'll run the program. So you see we are getting 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 4, 3, 1. So we have got three even numbers and two odd numbers. And one more thing what we want to do here is whenever I am getting a number as equal to 0, I want my number to print as 6. Okay. Again I have run it. Now again you see that I have got more even numbers than the odd numbers. Similarly, let's try to run it more times and you can see everything is random 6 2 2 6 2 2. Now I have got all the five numbers as even, and I will change it to 7 also here and try. See 6 1 4 3. So we have uh, successfully established what we wanted to do, and this was a problem asked in Make My Trip interview. I hope you will be able to understand what how to write the code. And now if you see how beautiful it looks, right? If you just make some things here, or make some write some things here like this, it will not look proper. Right now, if you see, the readability of the code is very good, and if some other person also wants to read it, it will be very easy for him. So if I come here and if I see, okay, int number says cast dice, so somebody is casting the dice. Inside the casting the dice, what happens is, the first thing what I'm doing is I'm getting the random number. So function basically itself, it says that it is getting a random number. So inside this function I'm doing this. I think we are good with the logic, and in the next video what we'll do is we'll create a web UI where on the web you will be able to see a dice, and whenever you click a dice, it will cast the dice and it will give you a new number, and we'll try to put these functions inside a JavaScript, and we'll see whether it is working properly or not. Stay tuned for more. We'll be doing a lot of these kind of stuff where we will be going into the hands-on coding and see whether things are working or not.